Somehow today it snowed. But that wasn't the case in 1977 when Mr. Sherman and Mr. Kaiser brought a film crew to Chagrin Falls and to Hudson to film the movie The Gathering for our enjoyment here in Chagrin Falls, I think, mostly. It didn't seem to matter what the weather was like. It looked terrible, but somehow it was so exciting to us that it didn't matter. Tonight, Mr. Sherman, Harry Sherman, and his wife Gretchen are here from California, as well as Randall Kleiser. They are here especially to celebrate with us this 30th anniversary of The Gathering. I'm going to ask Chagrin's own Dave Griffiths, as involved this year as he was in 1977, to say a few words after I share a letter with you. Hello, my name is Tony Ventrella. My wife and I live in Newcastle, Washington. We've been fans of the movie The Gathering since the late 1970s. I work and travel with the Seattle Seahawks. And on a recent trip to Cleveland, ran across an article in the City Visitor magazine at the Renaissance Hotel about Chagrin Falls. When I first glanced at the photo on page 48, it dawned on me that I had seen those falls before. It did not take long to connect Chagrin Falls with The Gathering. I work in television and radio news as well as public relations for the Seahawks, and 2 years ago did an interview with Ed Asner. I asked him about The Gathering, and he said it was one of his favorite movies. He also told me it was shot in Ohio, not New England. I put two and two together and realized I'd finally found the location of my favorite Christmas movie. We cannot be there for your 30th anniversary showing of the film, so I'm sending a donation to the Chagrin Falls Historical Society. We appreciate your efforts to keep alive the history of such a wonderful little town and such a memorable family movie. Next time in Cleveland, we will pay a visit to Chagrin Falls and have our photo taken in front of the falls. And that sign from Tony Ventrella. That's pretty neat. I want to invite everyone tomorrow to a tea at the Historical Society. It's from 2 to 4 p.m., where you will have an opportunity to speak a little bit more personally with our dignified guests. And Seahawks made me think. There seems to be... So we're going to try very hard to get the police department to turn their TV on while we're at the Historical Society. Should the spirit move you this evening to visit with Scrap Zalba out in the lobby, there is a table with the books that the Chagrin Falls Historical Society Press has published, and we would be delighted to have you do a little shopping if you would like to. And now, Dave, I think you have some things to say.
Thanks very much. It's a real thrill again to be here to take part in this. It's nice to see old faces. Much younger 30 years ago. It's happening. It's really happening. That's a line if you'll watch the movie closely you hear tonight. It's happening here in Chagrin Falls again, as it did 30 years ago. We're so privileged at the generosity and kindness of Harry Sherman and Randall Kleiser to come back from California. They came in from Los Angeles last night and this morning, and to just give such a push to this night for the Historical Society tonight. We were involved with the gathering from the beginning. It started at the Rain Tree Restaurant when folks from Hollywood were here saying, is this going to be a good place to do our Christmas movie? We thought it was excellent, of course, and they were sold when they saw the falls just totally frozen over with a little trickle going through the middle of the river. And they liked it, and our job was to find some scenes or some locations for scenes that they could use in the movie. You'll see, you probably won't recognize it, but Hugh Young's basement on Philomathian Street. This is King's condominium at Carriage Hill. There's a scene over at the old Western Electric building on Aurora Road. Right here at Step North, there was a scene when, probably the biggest scene with the most prominent actors in it. In that scene, if you blink, you won't see them, but Jim Soletter, Hugh Young, and I was there. I told my mother, Mom, watch, it's going to be on tomorrow night. She watched and called the next day and said, David, I missed you, where were you? Well, that's how quick it was to see it. Soletter, Young, and Griffiths. You won't. It was a delight, more than seeing the places used that we found for them. Of course, the big scenes were down at the headmaster's house at Western Reserve Academy. It was fun to be there when some of the scenes were being filmed, to get to know the actors well, and more so the crew, fun people, good people. I can mention 3 instances that 3 of the people involved, just give you a flavor of what these people are like. Ed Asner. Asner was rough, the guy you saw on Mary Tyler Moore, the big heart. Jane and I had 2 parties at the house, and we got to see Asner and all the other cast. Asner came back to town maybe 15, 20 years ago to do Born Yesterday at the Cleveland Playhouse, and I called him and I said, gee, could you come out in the middle of July to see what the falls look like in the summer, not when it's frozen in the middle of winter, as you recognize it. So he said, sure. I went in and picked him up, and he came out, and we met at the bridge, and he saw it, enjoyed it. Remember, it was different from when he saw it last. We went out to Pine Lake for brunch. He had a matinee that afternoon, so we heard out there. Mayor Bodwell was there, Butch, Marinos, Pinkers, maybe some of you remember the Skillings. There were just 12 of us. The exact words Asner used as he sat down at that table, I sense the aura of affluence around this table. Like, if you remember, later on he was president of the Screen Actors Guild and rather liberal. And he really got going into this liberal stuff, and poor Mayor Bodwell kicked me. He kicked me under the table. Dave, do we have to take this stuff? Well, it got into a very philosophical discussion, so much so that we went through 2 red lights to get him back to the... But he was more than just a talker. He lived this life that he espoused. I went home the next day, turned on the 6 o'clock evening news, and there's my friend, our friend Ed Asner with a picket sign walking around a grocery store on the west side. Don't buy grapes in this store, they were picked by non-union workers. He lived the life, that's true, Harry, it's true, you know it. But he lived the life that he preached, which is a tribute to him. Stephanie Zimbalist. I'm sorry she won't be here tonight. You'd love her. Anyone that was here 30 years ago and met Stephanie at any of these parties or during the filming would have loved her. When she came to our house for the first party, the cast and crew party, she just captivated everyone. She was poised, she was good looking, she was humble, she was generous, she was considerate, all those good things. I am the father of 4 daughters, and I love when people say to me, your daughters have done some nice things. So I will write to this lady's father, Ephraim Zimbalist Jr., who was very prominent then and was at FBI or some program was popular. I said, dear Mr. Zimbalist, I'm a father of 4 daughters, and I love to hear that my daughters are doing well. And I thought you'd like to know that your daughter came to Chagrin Falls and just thrilled our little village, and all the things that she did made us this lover, and you should be very proud. That was in February of 1977 when the movie was filmed. Well, I didn't hear anything from him. 9 months later, we had a great world premiere party at the house before the big premiere at the actual showing of the film at the theater. And I stood at the door and greeted people as they came, and people would Kraft and Hanna-Barbera, ABC, Channel 5, Cleveland Press, Cleveland Plain, everybody was here. And up the walk comes Stephanie Zimbalist, as lovely as ever, gentle as ever. And as she came through the door, she said, "Hi, Mr. Griffiths, it's nice to see you again. My father said to thank you for the kind note." Now, if that isn't graciousness, consideration, it just shows the kind of people these people are. And last, the third person I want to just give you an example of. It was in the fall of 1978, a year after the movie was shown, and we were all at home on Sunday night watching the Emmy Awards, and lo and behold, the program, the best dramatic series for television that year was The Gathering. And we watched Harry Sherman go up on the stage, and from Mary Tyler Moore, Mary Tyler Moore ended Harry the Oscar, the Emmy. The next morning in the office at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, my phone buzzed. I picked it up. "Hi, Dave. This is Harry Sherman in Los Angeles. I want you to know that they gave out the Emmys last night, and The Gathering won." I said, "Harry, we all saw it. We're thrilled for it." He said, "Well, Dave, I just want you to know that we won, and please thank the people of Chagrin Falls and all that helped and did so much to make us a winner." If it was 10 o'clock at my desk, it had to be 7 o'clock in the morning, Harry. I don't know whether you stayed up all night or you got up early in college, but we thank you some years later. To show the continued willingness of these two fellas to just help and be part of things, they spoke to a bunch of kids at the high school today about theater and so on. And if any of you are aware, there's a class play going on tonight and tomorrow night at the high school. And the kids were so excited about these two fellas being here, they wondered if they could come up to see part of the show. Well, they're going to go up. So if you see them leave as the movie starts, don't think they've seen the movie before. So don't be offended or don't think ill of them that they're tired of it. But they're going up to see your kids in the play tonight. They'll be back, and they hope to meet most of you tonight upstairs. I'm so thrilled and thankful that Randall Kleiser and Harry Sherman are here with us tonight and that you can meet them. Harry, Randall, come on up.
David said old faces. This is an old face. And my younger partner here. This is a very special film in my life. I've done a lot of films over the 45 years that I was active and on many locations. But this was a town that totally developed this company and really made the film as far as I'm concerned. We enjoyed it. We had every minute to be with you people. We had a tremendous schedule. The snow started to melt along the way. We had to work 18, 20 hours the last few days in order to get the snow. But it came out and it made the picture. So we appreciate being invited back here. And we hope you will enjoy the film tonight. It is a DVD. Warner Brothers did make it for us, but it's an old picture. They didn't want to spend a lot of time or a lot of money, so you're going to unfortunately see some black leader in between where the commercials went, but you'll just have to bear with it. But it's certainly better than a VHS.
And we're going to show a couple of slides here that we put together based on things that have happened over the years, some where we shot here and some since then. So Keith, if you could just click on that once. This of course is Ed by the falls down below, and then Maureen is the next slide. Wonderful lady. We loved her so much. She unfortunately passed on. And the next person is our friend Gail Strickland. And then we have some pictures that were taken of John Randolph, also no longer with us in that opening sequence. And then there's a shot of the first day of shooting when I was working with John and Ed down by the falls, and it was a wonderful opening, and we'll see in a minute. Now we have some pictures also here of, this is at the premiere. Years ago, the premiere, and that's Stephanie and who all, Dave, and okay. The next one is also taken at the premiere. There's Gretchen and Dave. And this was and Ed Asner over the side. The next one is Harry and Dave and Ed.
Much younger me.
And then we have me and my dad, who came in from they came in from Pennsylvania. And then years later, this was just recently. This was at we had a reunion just when was that? February. And this is me and Ed and James Karen, who played the lawyer, and Andy Hayward, who's the son of Dick Hayward, who was the other producer. And next one is Stephanie and Bruce Davison and our casting director, Joel Thurm, at this little reunion. We've been having these reunions over the years, right? Next one is Larry Pressman and Bruce is in the background, Jimmy and Karen. And next is Gail Strickland. And then we have Stephanie read something. Do you remember what that was? Yes. And next is this group, and there's Gretchen at the bottom. And this was our little group for that party. And lastly, I believe this was taken today out by the falls.
Getting things organized. I'll just speak a little bit about the film. Originally, the script called for New England, and our production designer was a little short lady, about 4'11" and weighed about 90 pounds, and very talented. And she had done Eleanor and Franklin, the story of the Roosevelts, a couple of years before, and she was a dynamo and a perfectionist. So she said, I'd like to go do the scouting trip for you, and then I'll call you when I found the place. So the decision was that she would go to Illinois because that was her home state, and she thought there would be some places that might work there, went into Ohio, and then she was to go on to New Hampshire and Massachusetts. Well, she got here, and the film commission, I think, very salt with the lady, who later came to California to visit us. But Mary introduced Jan to Dave Griffiths, and they went around the town, and that evening she called us. She said, I found the place. This is exactly right for the gathering. She started to describe it, and so we started with the plans. She brought back some pictures, and the production was on the way. We came back here, I think it was the first part of February. It was a Christmas story, as you know, and ABC had Eastman Kodak to sponsor it. It was to be a special presentation. We got back here, went through the town, and everything was decorated for Valentine's Day. We said, wow, we're going to have to do some real set dressing here to change all this. Well, all the people who owned all the stores and shops totally redid their stores back to the Christmas. With animated figures, it was just phenomenal. The day before the film, we came to walk through, and that night, it was unbelievable to all of us. And the village was decorated for Christmas. That night, it started snowing. It snowed the whole first day of the film.
Now we have a couple greetings. Many of the actors wanted to come here tonight, but they're all working, luckily. But we have two of them we're able to talk to, so here are the greetings from them. Then we'll talk a little bit before the movie goes.
Lawrence Bressman, and I played Tom in The Gathering, the eldest son, the Harvard guy. And I remember Chagrin Falls with great fondness, career out of town. I remember we had to bring snow in. As you can see, we don't have to bring snow in to LA. And it was great. Say hello to you all.
And now we have a message from the star of the gathering, Mr. Ed Asner.
That was the unique thing about that wonderful story, which we're celebrating the 30th anniversary of, that Randall and the eminent producers like Harry Sherman and Deke Hayward were able to get actors who all came to dominate TV from that point on, if they weren't already, as leads in series. Veronica Hamill, Larry Pressman, Greg Harrison, so many. And it was such a great story that I love being in Chagrin Falls, and my greatest regret is that I never jumped in the falls. So I've made provisions in my will that on my death, my ashes are to be dumped in the falls to achieve the jump I never made. So please receive my ashes, all my ashes, so to speak, into the falls. And know that I wish I was with you, because those were great times for me. My family had a marvelous time there, had a marvelous time working under Randall. I'm probably the last actor that ever said that. I love our story and the reverberations throughout the country of what Chagrin Falls did in making that story. People getting reunited, families estranged from each other, getting together again after years of strange silence with each other. That was it's the only film I've ever done, TV I've ever done, where I became directly aware of what it meant to people. So take pride in that one product that came out of Chagrin Falls, besides, what's his name, what's that comedian? Tim Conway. I know he comes out of Chagrin Falls. But that's him now. That's it. All right, Tim. I mentioned it twice. Hang on. There. Try to speak quickly.
And so you'd like to hear a report today, but get on camera tomorrow? Okay, now if you can't do the on camera, if you don't have the time, it doesn't today. And
Yeah.
okay, thanks.
I just want to say that it was a great time there, and I would like to be there, but they're honoring Lou Grant at the same time as your festivities. And believe me, the series Lou Grant needs my help far more than Chagrin Falls. So please understand why I'm not there, and that I would have been there in a New York minute if it hadn't been for Lou Grant, which got me into Chagrin Falls to begin with. So lots of love, and kiss all my pretty girls.
And cut.
I called Ed Asner, I think it was in May, and told him about this event, because Dave had sent me a letter in February, and since I'm so fast at responding to things, it took me to May to get to Ed Asner, and he said, "You bet I'll be." about 3 weeks later, he called me and he said, a little bit of a change of plans. The Academy of Television Arts and Sciences notified me that the Lou Grant Show is being honored that same evening. So I have to be there. So that's why Ed is not here. But he sent you the film, as you can tell. The show was a particularly important thing in my life. One, it was a family story. The writer, James Poe, I had known and had worked with once before on a film called Boys of the Field. And some of this was actually autobiographical because Jim's family had been horrified by a divorce. And his wife, who was a very nice lady, and I did meet her on several occasions years later, had decided to try and get everyone back together. It was not because of the Vietnam War here, but it was because of his lifestyle at the time. But we looked with great reflection on the years the family had together and that they were able to get back together after a schism. So I thought this was an interesting anecdote for you all to know that it had some basis of real life.
I think we could start running it. There's a little bit of the stuff at the head, so while that's happening, we can talk a little bit more. You know, I just was thinking back to when we first were about to shoot. We went over to the Academy. What was that? Where we shot the house, Western Reserve, and the student talked to the students. That was fun, and today we did it again. So we were very, very impressed today. Over at the, oh wow, it's running already, okay. But there's no picture, wow. Oh, here we go.
You're missing time, John.
They're connecting to another. His family, can you understand that?
Do you understand I can't handle it?
It'd be a charade. All tight smiles intentional.
Roger, this Christmas thing has taken on a new complication.
You're gonna straighten me out. You've got 20 years left to do, and all you can do is cry about it. It's too late. How are you gonna spend the rest of your life? I'd really like to know.
Children were nestled, all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads.
It's happening. It's really happening.
For the
teeth. It never were very much of a custard.
How long, Doc?
I've always pictured my life as a piece of string winding into the future. Always figured I had another 20, 30 years. 30, 60, maybe 90 days. Too bad. I'd ask, you know how it is with us engineers. Problem situation. One approach fails, you search for alternative solutions. Adam, I'm switching to plan B. I checked every possibility. The clinic double-checked. Then I double-checked the clinic. Then you did exactly what I would have done. Called in the troubleshooters. That's right. Hoping somewhere, somehow, somebody tell you you don't know your job. I accept most of your preamble about the rich, full life with which I've been blessed. The plain unvarnished truth is, I need time. I know. Certain aspects of my life are not in order. You jumped the gun and gave me both barrels. Right between the eyes. Yeah. I figured you could take it. I thank you for that respect. You give me time, John. Not much.